All right, this is Tim Rogers with Dodgers 2080. You got Trinidad with me. Alex is out. He's got some personal stuff going on. Maybe he'll share it next week with whatever's going on with him, but it's all good. He's okay. And he'll hopefully be back with us next week. This week, we're going to look at the Fangraphs top 51 or their prospect list of 51 players. We're just going to go do kind of a high level glance over them. We might do a little bit of deep dive on players we're more familiar with. Some of these players are people that you may not have heard of, and so that's kind of cool. And we'll get to know these guys as they come through. I think some of these guys will be coming up to Rancho in the next couple of years, and some of these guys were at Rancho or have already been through, and we won't see them again until they're in Dodger Stadium. So, as you can see the screen over there, starting at 51, we have Robinson Ortiz. Robinson is a lefty pitcher. He's had injuries the last couple of years. Important to note that he was making great progress in 2020 before the shutdown. He was hitting 98, and now the last couple of years he's been hurt. So, and I just saw an Instagram picture with him. It looked like he had more surgery, and so hopefully that was a past picture. Yeah. In Trinidad, just jump in if you feel like any of them. I'll just go through and you jump in if you feel like you know. In fact, you'll know this next guy.
Sure, no, this guy right now, Damon Keith.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
I know he was like very hot when we saw him in Rancho, and then he took a big jump out into to high A ball, and he was still pretty much killing it up there because I think what it was is like OPS was like at 900 or something like that,
Yeah.
980. Yeah, so he had a high on base percentage and did drive the ball the opposite way, which normally you don't see nowadays guys going the other way, but his was always gap to gap.
Yeah.
But did like, I mean, he did have a great arm out there in right field, which we mostly saw him play out there. So definitely that's one of the reasons probably he was always in right field, because he had an arm.
Yeah, we saw a few assists from him, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, he was fun to watch. Good dude too. We were able to interview him. I think it was in June before he got called up. So it's on the Dodgers 2080 YouTube channel. This channel. Ryan Ward. He's been around a little bit, making progress through the system. He's definitely I know they only have him 40-40 on the hit tool. I think it's probably a little higher than that. And by the way, these numbers you see, these are the basis of where we call ourselves Dodgers 2080, because the scouting system is on a 20 to 80 scale. 20 is the lower end, 80 is the higher end. You won't see many 80s at all. An 80 would be like a, Bo Jackson sprint speed, or Deion Sanders sprint speed, Trey Turner, guys like that. Those are 80s. Most highest you'll see is like 70s, maybe 65s. There's a couple 20s on here on the bad end, which is kind of a bummer.
I know a lot of guys got a lot of 20s, mostly because they're saying that a lot of them, because they lost a year from the pandemic, a lot of their ability dropped down a lot. So I mean, it's not their fault, but again, when you lose a year in baseball, it's technically like when you play in college and you lose a year when you have to redshirt, you have to start from the ground up again.
Yeah. And so we got Ryan Ward, 2019 draft pick, and he's been making progress. He's one of those just left-handed hitters. You call him the old professional hitter. He's one of those types. The Dodgers have run a lot of those lefty hitters with some power through the lineup, kind of left field. They profile at left field, maybe some first base. Let's see our next guy. Oh, Wilman Diaz, Man, he came out, he was signed in 2021, right? Yeah, 2021. And
Oh, wow. I thought he was signed in 2020.
No, it was that they delayed that signing period. So they moved it to January of 2021. And by the way, the new signing is next week. So maybe we'll cover a little bit of that next week, do a little research on who they signed. But Diaz, that's a huge disappointment on his falling down like that. They have him really rated really high on defense, but you could see on the hit. So the hit is
really bad.
Yeah, as a 20. You can't get any worse than that. And they only project him to be at a 35. And I've seen the kid up close. A heavy emphasis on kid. He's 19 right now. He just
I mean, he's
turned.
still got a lot of time to develop. I mean, he's still young, but I
Yeah.
mean, it's just that the fact, like how we talked about in past interviews or in the last few videos we've made, is just that when they get a lot of attention like this at a big signing, because he was, I think him and I believe a couple other guys that they signed in the international draft, they were like high, like top 5 or top 10
Mm-hmm.
players. That's when it gets to their head kind of a little bit. But I mean, it's all that pressure because they got a big chip on their shoulder now. Now they got to prove at 16, 17 years old, will I make it by the time I hit 20?
Yeah. Imagine getting $2 million when you're 17 years old.
Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't
Yeah.
it?
So if anyone wants to drop me a couple million, I'll be happy to take it. I'll take a couple thousand. Nelson Quiros, we saw him briefly at
Yes,
Rancho. Did you ever see him in a game? I
I
didn't.
did actually. I saw him. I was gonna say the week after Diego got called up, because he got
Mm-hmm.
called up when Diego left. I do remember that.
Right.
I'll never forget though the prank they did on him. They had him catch a bunch of bullpens because he was the only catcher there.
Oh no.
Yeah, but yeah, I did see him play with a couple games. But the previous to the game I saw him play, they were on the road, and that was when he had the 3 home run game.
Okay. I missed that.
Yeah. So uh has a weird looking stance, but when he makes contact with the ball does jump off his bat. That's for sure.
Switch hitter too.
Yes, and you don't normally see that anymore with catchers at all anymore.
Yeah.
But he is contact to contact, because I believe his OPS was at I want to say a good high number, also 800, I believe, in the few
Okay.
times couple games. But yeah, great defense as well too. He knows how to command the strike zone. He likes to steal a lot of strikes. That's a big plus as well there with him.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean overall until he got injured. But I
Yeah.
know we might
It says
see him
down
back.
here, I didn't know he broke his hamate. So that's what happened. The thing in the hand.
Right.
Bummer. So I'm guessing we're going to see him again at Rancho, at least to start the season. Which is cool. I'd like to see him more in action. Nick Robertson, this is a guy that's also fallen a bit. They do, and I just covered him on it with the Dodgers Prospects podcast. We talked about him a little bit. He had a great 2021 in Double-A, and the Dodgers rewarded him with starting
Oh
him
yeah.
in Double-A again. And
Oh
so
really?
how does that, and they did that with a few, like him and Mark Washington. They don't have Mark Washington on this list. Mark's a good pitcher, but what's that? What kind of reward is that? And it wasn't like he was partial season. He was full season 2021. And, mentally that kind of, I don't think, sometimes that's probably not the best of things for people, but he came on strong at the end of the year though.
It's not so much of the fact that I mean, that in our eyes, when you finish the season or you do well a whole year and you finish hot and you think
Yeah.
that, okay, this guy's going to start off the following year in a hot, in another higher division. But I just think for him, it just seemed like they probably saw something, because I mean, obviously it might have been his command as well too. As you could tell, he has a 40, which is not bad. I mean, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong. But
That's I tell you, going through the list of relievers, and Casey and I went through all the guys at AAA and some of the
right,
guys in the majors, all the prospect guys, and 75% of them, or at least, have command issues.
correct. I mean, which is you're going to see a lot in the minors, because that's where you're
Yeah.
going to try to develop. But maybe it could have been that, and they try to hold him off one more year in Double-A, try to start him off and see if he was continuing that stretch. But I mean, then again, who knows what they see that we don't see at all, too.
Yeah. I mean, he's 24, 24 and a half years old. It's like, hey, you got to keep moving those guys, move them on or move them out.
Right.
Here's a guy we saw,
A lot, too.
Madison Jeffrey. Yeah, man. That guy had some flow going, didn't he?
Hell yeah.
He's but command is the issue, and but the fastball, man.
It jumps off his hand for sure.
I during some of you people may seen some of my pictures, but I'm able to go behind the catcher during, between innings when they're warming up. I'm not
Okay.
directly behind, and so I've been able to see up close that stuff, and it's electric stuff. I mean, if he gets it over It's just a matter of time, I think. But he's they like him here. I mean, the stuff is nasty. It's really it's going to be a control.
Correct.
We saw it get to him. And late, but he's first of all, he's a heck of a guy. I really like him. So I always like to shout out to those guys that are really, really cool. And he's definitely one of them. Damon Keith's a really good dude too. And Madison is he's just getting there. Was he 15th round pick? But the arm's live. He's not not the tallest guy, but the stuff's there, man.
He reminds me of trying to think of that one pitcher that you would normally see, like below 6 feet, but can throw really hard. I forgot that reliever at the time, but yeah, you don't really normally see that because unless because he does have a long strike to the plate when he throws the ball. That's why it does jump off his arm. So
he even has that extra tip of the toe, with his foot, because he does some stuff with his foot at the end in the top of his leg kick.
Right.
I would highly recommend Googling him. There's some I can't remember the young lady's name that takes some good videos, but excuse me. She put some video out on YouTube. I'll put a link to her in the description later when we release this. Let's Ronaldo Gene. Yeah, I mean, from my understanding, why it's not Junior Garcia, it's Junior Garcia. So I'm guessing it's Gene, more of a Ronaldo Gene. I don't know, but doesn't matter what it is. He's a 19-year-old, 6'4", 240-pound dude who can hit 100.
Yeah, I want to know nowadays, what do they feed these kids that they are just?
Yeah, man. Dominican. He's good question. That's a big kid. Just at 19. So I'm guessing. I bet we see him at the end of the year at Rancho in 2023. He's probably going to go to the Arizona League for a bit, and then come over. But he's 19, so he'll be coming to us, I think.
I would say through the year he'll be with us, depending, because you always know that a lot with these pitchers that are still not well developed with their arms and they get really tired or they get hurt. We're just gonna get a lot of guys from there.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, it's just, oh my gosh. I mean, at the end of the year, especially, there's so many pitchers come through. I can't keep track. I'm always during the year, I'd pull Marco. There was one time I pulled Marco Hernandez aside, and I go, "Who's that guy?" He goes, "I don't know."
Yeah, if your own catcher don't know who you are, then that means that you're just calling up a bunch of guys now.
It was awesome, man. And then we have Alvaro Benoit. I was able to get his name from they talking about the pronunciation in here. This another, he just both Jean Yin and Benoit signed in 2021, and so these guys are just another big boy. Another righty. Dodgers got a million of them, don't they? 99, 6'4", 220, 20 years old. Another guy, we're going to see him hopefully at Rancho. It'll be fun to watch. Right. I mean, I'm excited about those guys coming in. I hope they all pitch on the Friday that I'm there. Peyton Martin.
Yeah, for me, because I'm normally not there on a weekday, so
yeah,
hopefully on the weekend too.
Yeah, Peyton Martin, starting pitcher, was drafted in the 17th round, 2022. I'm not sure if he did not make it to Rancho. I know that. I'm not even sure he even made an appearance. Usually with the high school guys, they take it real easy with them. They may see a little bit of time in the Arizona League, or was it ASL, Arizona Summer League? I don't recall his name being in there, but I could be wrong. He's a ways away. Obviously, they baby the high school kids. I understand it, and they should. So I bet we see him at Rancho, and we see him start, and he'll go 2 innings, right, for the whole year, just like Bruns did.
Yeah, I would see normally that with these high school kids.
Yeah, Hubick too, right? Hubick too. Yeah, Peter Hubick's another guy. Christopher Campos, Chris, the guy, I met him before.
Love that kid.
Yeah, he's a good kid. He was a shortstop,
right,
from the same school as Tony Gonsolin. They even fart around with his name here. Very athletic two-way player at St. Mary's. Gonsolin, Campos. So Gonsolin went to St. Mary's and was a shortstop. And so
He
Campos
wants to
saying
still play both
he
positions.
does. I talked to him about that. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what the Dodgers do with him. We'll see. They say he's got good contact skills at shortstop. But yeah, we saw him pitch a little bit, and he was a guy that didn't pitch that much, and they say he only threw 34 innings in college. So they're babying him like a high school guy.
Right.
And he had mixed results, so that's okay. And I think there's more. It sounds like there's more to him there's going to be more to him than 95. All
Were
these
you there
numbers
for
are
his
good.
debut?
Gosh, no, I wasn't his debut. I saw him pitch, start at down in Elsinore.
Okay, yeah, because I saw his debut and he went about 4 innings till he started getting shelled a little bit. But he had great command. Obviously, his fastball was really live though, for sure.
Yeah.
I know they're high on him as well with his fastball. Like you said, that's one of the guys I would like to compare the other Madison Jeffrey to. They're only under 6 feet, but they know how to like have that zip on their fastball a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of athleticism in those guys.
Yeah.
And that allows them to do that. And so here's a guy we're familiar with, Carlos de los Santos. He'd come in, man. He was always fun to watch. He'd come in, just blow people away.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And I don't remember his command being that bad. I really don't. And I thought he went up at the end of the year. I thought he went to Great Lakes by the end of the year. So I don't think he's not going to be back at Rancho, that's for sure. But he was fun to watch. He'd come in. I thought he was their best reliever during the season, from what I saw.
He was down, wasn't he? I think he was injured for a bit.
He might have been. I can't even remember.
So.
Another Rancho guy, Ben Kasparius, since he's white. But look at this. Look at the slider, 70 of 70. This is a guy that was a former two-way player.
Right.
So that's something to talk about. I mean, he was a guy, he had like his first appearance at Rancho was brutal. And then after that, he was almost perfect. I mean, he was so good. Then of course, I interviewed him, and then like a couple days later he got promoted. So I was glad that I got him.
A lot of these kids, they're only in Rancho for like probably a few days, or even not even that, but probably like a couple weeks. Next thing you know, they're gone.
Well, Ben's also he was a college guy.
Yeah.
And so the older guys are going to get promoted faster. Then you have to kind of look at a lot of all the international guys when they come to Rancho, they're basically freshmen or sophomores in college.
That is true.
I mean, they're signed at 16, 17. Let's see, Kyle Hurt, he had a really nice year this year. He'd struggled the year before. He's a local guy. He went to high school down here. Got a kid that used to play with him that I used to coach.
The former Trojan, that's for sure.
Yeah. Torrey Pines High School. And he had a great year.
No, he really did.
He did. I missed him at Rancho in 2021. He was only there a little bit. I think he finished the year, but I didn't get a chance to catch him. 2021 year, such a terrible year to try to cover him. We were in the stands. So,
yeah, he came with a handful of group. I believe he came with Nick Nastrini, and I forgot who else he came up with, because
Sheehan, right? Wasn't Sheehan with that group too?
Right.
Yeah, I missed all of them.
Yeah, and kind of like what they did this year towards the end of the year. When I looked at the roster this year, I literally just saw all the 2022 draft picks, and I was like, oh, wow, they got promoted really fast.
Yeah, I think by the end of the year, the Dodgers had it was at least 9 guys at Rancho that were from the 2022 draft. And I think it might have even been more. I'm probably forgetting some guys, but Hurt's got some heat. He's a big boy. He stepped it up. So it was good to see. And I expect him at Double-A.
I believe he threw a no-hitter as well too, right?
Yeah. It was a combined no-hitter or something like that. But
yeah, I believe so. I think he was part of that.
Yeah. No, I another big righty, just coming in throwing heat. Alex Freeland, man, I thought they'd be higher on this guy. I'm high on the guy.
Me too. I'm really high on you and me both, Tim.
I have him so he's a switch hitter, which is a little different. I have him as a clean-haired what's it, Crawford, with the
Brandon Crawford.
Brandon Crawford. Yeah, clean-haired Brandon Crawford. The arms there. I think, Crawford's not the, perfect athlete and everything. I like Freeland a lot. And I liked what he did hitting wise at Rancho. It was just a few 10, 11 games.
I believe so, yeah.
We might see him at the beginning of the season, but there's also a chance we won't. And they had him at shortstop, not third base. So and a guy they didn't put on here that maybe I'm a little disappointed was they didn't put Sean McLean on here. I know he got hurt last year, but
Right.
he was drafted, in the same draft as Freeland. Couple picks later. Dodgers picked a lot of shortstops last year for good
that's
reason.
Another thing. Yeah, we're very low on that, right? They're
Yeah.
running low on him. So.
Yeah. I mean, we've only lost 2 great shortstops in the last 2 years. That's all. I think Seager still hurts.
Yeah.
All around good guy, Peter Hubick. He's a tall, skinny guy. They got him out of high school. They gave him a heck of a good bonus to keep him out of college. With he's already sitting 96. And he would have been, last year he would have been a freshman in college.
Right.
And so I was impressed with what I did see. He was the 2-3 inning guy because they were babying him out of high school. And he had some good ones. He had some tough ones. But his curveball is really good already. He's going to be a guy that's going to fill out, I think. And I 96 is going to be kind of where he's going to sit eventually, I think.
Maybe he gets a little stronger, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
But I mean, I would say 96. I'd probably say 98 would probably be his top.
Yeah.
If he at most, which I'm trying to say, if he gets a little stronger.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's 6'3", so I mean, what more can you ask for out of that?
Yeah,
I mean, that's a big, tall frame already.
Yeah, he's getting to that, getting his man strength is what he's doing. He's right in that middle of gaining that right now.
Right.
Jesus Galiz, surprised
I'm looking forward to seeing this kid this year.
Yeah, we get him. We definitely get him this year. I like him. Hard worker. The arms, he's got a gun. The pop time is insane. I'm not judging the hit tool yet at all. And it's tough to do. He's 19. Let's give the guy a shot here. Righty hitter. But yeah, he will be the starting catcher probably to start the season at Rancho. Him and Nelson Queiroz is my guess, or Queiroz.
You don't think it'll be Yainer?
No, he's going to go up to Great Lakes. I think we've seen the last of Yainer at Rancho. He should be promoted.
Okay.
Yainer's, well. If you don't love Yainer, you're a communist.
Right.
I mean, Yainer's the best, truly one of the best out there. Those catch, I swear that, and I haven't directly met Jesus. I've only DM'd him a little bit. Good kid. But the Dodger quality humans that the Dodgers have at catcher is as outrageous. Those guys are amazing human beings. I mean,
right.
Diego Cartaya, I don't know if you had any interactions with him, but I did. He was just professional.
He's very
of course, Marco Hernandez. Even I haven't really dealt much with rushing yet. Everyone wanted his attention. I didn't. Sometimes my inner shyness comes out, and but hopefully I get to talk to him in spring training. We won't be seeing him at Rancho though. So next guy is probably a guy that most of us have not heard of, Oswaldo Osorio. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but he was signed 2022. Not even 18 years old yet.
Yeah, that's a perfect way to say that he's just a baby.
He's a baby, yeah. Lefty batter though, righty thrower, shortstop again. But they already like his fielding a lot. He's fast. They see something there.
Right.
I think this is key. The defensive ability and physical projection are the pillars of his prospectum. So there's plenty there. It's probably going to be a couple years before we see him. I think we'll see.
Say,
I think we'll see Diaz though. Willman. I think we'll see Willman. Remember Joel Ibarra?
big dude.
Big dude, man. He comes in firing, doesn't he? I
He
love it.
is
He brings
huge.
fire.
I love the fact that I believe I saw him a couple of days, and it was funny though, because usually when the players come out of the clubhouse and they talk to their family, they're there. But I didn't know I was standing next to him. I'm like, who's this gigantic guy next to me?
Yeah.
And I guess he walked into the clubhouse and it was him. And I was like, dude,
yeah,
you're only.
Yeah, the last game of the season, his dad was there. And
right.
we were sitting on the bench, and Joel was, translating a little bit because his dad doesn't speak English, and my Spanish still sucks bad. But he was a former shortstop. Can you believe his 6'1", 225 shortstop? But the fastball pops, man. He's the classic get the heavy metal Slayer music going when he's coming into the game, and he's breathing fire, and he's bringing the heat, man. It's just there. It's just he's got that stomp almost, and he has that stare into the batter. He's got that reliever mentality already in it.
Right.
And he's really young. They basically
20.
they should have had to protect him, but they didn't need to, I guess, yet. I don't know why, or maybe just no one picked him yet. But right. I like what I see. There's a future there. I mean, let's never forget that Kenley Jansen was a catcher.
Yep.
And the great Pedro Baez was a third baseman. Rest in peace. All right, the big man, Ronan Kopp.
Love this guy.
Gosh, man, I tell you, that was a guy. I think oh goodness, I was talking to a guy during spring training. He was hurt. It was Cameron, the big tall reliever, Gibbons.
Okay.
For believe it or not, the Dodgers released him. And I didn't know who Kopp was. And
I never even heard of him.
He was talking to me, he goes, hey, watch. He just goes, watch this guy. He can throw 100. And so I watched him just during PFPs, just doing that. And then there was a backfields game, and I go over there and I see him out there on the mound. I get my camera out and start snapping him right away. And he reached out to me for pictures, and me and Ronan's a great guy. I've a great relationship with him. Interviewed him also. Great to see him promoted. His family goes to a lot of the games that come out from Arizona. I saw them a lot. His dad was always have little good exchanges with him on social media, and big kid. He looks on the mound. He does look a little like Bumgarner.
Right.
But he throws a lot harder, and he's not throwing near across his body. And he's a little more over the top. You could see some similarities. But like the rest, it's just command. He'll get there. It's just, he's 19. I mean, now he's 20. But I'm sitting there interviewing him with, and I'm literally in the middle of the interview going, "You're 19. What?" He's just a big guy, and he brings a lot of energy. He'd be one of those guys that I can guarantee will not get outworked. That I do know.
I mean, he even had a lot of command issues in the beginning, but towards the end, before he got promoted, he was literally almost a perfect guy too, as well. He was always going in, shutting out innings for like 3-4 innings, and then finally he would come out.
And then they ended up putting him in the rotation. So it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. If he's in the bullpen, I think he'd be a great weapon.
He'll be a great middle reliever for sure.
Yeah, but for a guy, you got to try a guy, I think, with that much potential. That's a steal. He was in the 12th round.
Right.
If they did that draft again, he's in the top 3 rounds, easy. I just like saying this guy's next name, Maximo Martinez. Yeah, another 2021 guy, righty, 99 miles an hour, man. Did have an elbow strain that was shut down. We might, so if he was in the complex season, that's the one in Arizona, we might see him pretty darn quick at Rancho the next year in 2023. So I'm kind of excited about that one. Let's just hope he's healthy. It's always, it's with all the pitchers, man. You
Kind of
can
wonder
never have
gonna
enough.
this year.
Yeah, they break. We know that. Their top guy, or one of the top guys from the 2022 international signing period, was Samuel Munoz.
I want to see where this guy goes.
Yeah, I think we might get him quicker than we think. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see him by the end of 2023, definitely 2024 at Rancho. I'm excited to see him. I think they're working on maybe his swing a little bit to get some more loft. But the hit tool,
He's a first baseman there, though.
Yeah, I think he's got time. 5 more years of Freddie. The fact they have him with a hit tool already projected at 60 it says something with how these folks feel about him. I'm excited about that guy. Did you see Valdez pitch last year? He pitched like a couple games at Rancho. I missed him by a day.
I think he pitched the day before the last game of the season.
Yeah, it was that.
It was that game. And he started that game actually too.
Were you there?
Yes, I was there.
Oh, nice.
Because that was the game. Remember the game before that it got rained out and they had to start the game again that Saturday. They had a doubleheader that day. Yeah, so I got to see him pitch the second game.
Yeah. So he's a lefty. And,
yep.
And we'll see him for sure. I'm excited about him. Josh Thomas of Dodgers Digest has him as one of his quote helium guys. So I want to give credit to Josh. Josh is a great dude. So it's the guy, one of those. There's a lot of people who want to meet in person. Josh is definitely one of them. I'm hoping to meet him at Rancho. Like, dude, get a press pass and come out and play with us.
It's funny that you mentioned him right now, Luis Valdez, because if you look at how they're projecting him with that changeup, when I was talking to some scout out there in Rancho that day he pitched, because it was his first game there after the complex league, they say his changeups is literally almost similar to Julio Urias.
Okay, well, we'll take that.
Because he doesn't throw hard. He really doesn't throw hard. If you look at it, it's only
93,
which was right. And we noted, I mean, he was telling me Julio Urias' best devastating pitch is that changeup.
Yeah.
So they have high hopes with him, maybe, especially if they say that his change similar to Julio Urias.
Well, to me, what's standing out right now is 158 pounds.
Right?
Yeah. So there's some man strength still coming. I'm excited about him, though. Looking forward to seeing him. And I'm glad, that he's getting there. Okay. Mayro Shendrick Martinez. I did see him. I think I even have him in one article that I wrote when I was covering some of the lower games during the season. Third baseman. Looks like he's got a big arm. He's still not even 18 yet. Curacao. So where Kenley's from, Andrew Jones.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, look at that raw power they have him at. Oh boy,
70.
this might be a dude.
Just his hit, it's just a little bit. Probably doesn't make a lot of contact.
No, his big noisy swing features a huge leg kick and bat wrap. Right on, dude. Go big or go home.
He's gonna probably be an Adam Dunn type of player. Either hit bombs or just go back.
But if he can play third base well, and that way they can do something different with Vargas if he doesn't be their best third baseman. This guy could be good.
That is true.
They like him there. I mean, again, he's not even 18 yet. Here's another guy. So this is a big 2021 guy. Guess what? Another catcher and a switch hitter. Holy smokes.
Oh, wow.
I know.
So, now they're coming.
They're coming. It's insane, isn't it? We'll definitely see him in 2024. But he split a lot of time with Galiz. So he plays some first base. we'll see what happens with him, but it's just another guy to be really excited about.
Oh, definitely.
James Outman, they have him at 26. I think they're wrong.
Yeah, I think he should be at least in top 10.
So look at, I mean, the hit, they're concerned about the hit, and it's the contact. We understand that, but the athletic ability, give me a break. Look at that.
I mean,
That's
I would say it's
strong.
a little more comparable to Cody Bellinger. That's for sure. I mean, he's more athletic and younger.
I put money that he's going to have a higher, if he gets 400 at bats, he'll have a higher WAR in 2022 than Cody did, or 2023 than Cody did in 2022. Maybe he's not quite as good as Cody is tracking down the ball, but not many people are. But Cody's throwing, I kind of fell off. I didn't see him throw anyone out hardly at all last year. He used to just really get good position. And I remember it just seems like he would get lazy on getting his position when he was catching the ball to be able to make a good throw.
Right now that you mentioned that, it is true though, because I think he was not even in the top 5, I want to say, as far as leading center fielders in oh my god, I
the
forgot
defensive stuff. I know. Yeah. No, I know. No, he wasn't. I think it's good for Cody. Hopefully he gets a wake-up call. But Outman, you don't have to worry about a wake-up call. This guy's been digging since he got drafted by the Dodgers. He was picked way higher than projected by everybody else. They drafted him based on the raw tools. They took it. We went to back in the day when they were in Ogden.
Okay.
He went to Ogden. They tore his swing apart. He started like 1 for 33 or something horrible at the plate. But look where he's at. He's already made his major league debut. I see him now. I think he's going to play a good 10 years in the major leagues. I don't know how much. Is he a full-time starter? Is he a platoon guy, or is he a fourth outfielder? But I think he's a major league outfielder right now. And I don't know how you put a guy at 26 and you go, I think he might start quite a bit of games. And I hope they give him a shot.
I still think he's going to be the starting center fielder, though.
I think you're right. And I hope you're right. That's for sure. Johnny DeLuca. So I remember him a little bit at Rancho. He was, covering him when I had the bad access. But he's, so I didn't really get to see him that much. He's a guy, surfer dude that he's a Southern California guy, and he's made his way onto the 40-man roster, and good for him. Sounds like he's got good speed. I mean, he's added the power in the major leagues with the Dodgers. A guy that sounds like he's gonna be a big leaguer eventually, and that's pretty darn cool. So I expect him to start the season in Double-A. But who knows? He might. You
don't think he'll be this year?
He didn't get Did he get? I thought he didn't get promoted until like mid-season, so I think they might start him in Double-A.
Okay.
But
I was only saying that because I know since a lot of these guys, I mean, since we were shocked that he was added to the 40-man roster.
Oh, yeah.
So we know they see something in him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I was only thinking that probably he started in AAA already, since he did end the season hot, and he did tour it up in Double-A after.
No, there's a chance. It just depends on how many of those kind of those quad A guys that they sign that the Dodgers will get to keep hot that can go on the major league roster. What they do is, they sign the the infielder Eddie Alvarez, right? He was one of those guys where you get him and then you bring him up and then you DFA him, and he may get claimed and moved to another team, or you re-sign him to Oklahoma City so you can bring him up again to DFA him again. That's the Jake Reed track.
Yeah, literally.
Hey, as long as you got a spot, man, you still have a shot.
That is true.
So I didn't see Justin pitch last year, but I met him.
I think I did see him pitch. I just don't remember.
Yeah, long-haired lefty guy, Justin Robleski. They're pretty high on him. He did have TJ to close out, so he's coming back from that.
Right.
But he's a lefty. I do think we'll see him again. I'm gonna make sure to get a lot of shots at him because he's a lefty and he's throwing 96. So I mean, they like him down here. They like his changeup. He's got a good changeup there. The Dodgers will make this cutter better if they really want him to.
Right.
But yeah, I think we got someone here that's lefties sometimes they can move pretty fast. The Dodgers got a jillion righties. Speaking of righties, Landon Knack, who had only threw 64 innings last year. Real disappointment. I know he's dropped in a lot of rankings.
Right.
He's just got to be healthy. I mean, he's 26 years old.
No, yeah, I think it's time to either make it or it's break it time now.
Yeah, he's got to. I mean, yeah. I mean, he's taking the same draft as Bobby Miller, but just the injuries, right? He just keeps getting hurt, and so he just got to be healthy and see what he can do.
Is he the same guy that got traded for the guy they sent to the Yankees for Joey Gallo, or who?
The same draft, Clayton Beater.
There you go.
Yeah, Clayton, he was terrible with the Dodgers and went to the Yankees and did really well, so good for him.
Right.
Michael Grove sitting at 22. Whatever. I have well, I mean, I guess maybe his age, but it's taken him a long time to recover from Tommy John. He has recovered. We did see him make his debut. He could also pitch, worst case, he could pitch in the bullpen if he has to.
I see that probably coming this year. I mean, they already started him as a starter with him and Ryan Pepiot.
Yeah.
But I mean, with his age probably and knowing Tommy John already, I think they probably throw him in the bullpen. Probably try him out and see how he does.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it this way. I mean, it's 2021. It ended well, but overall statistics were still dreadful. But the Dodgers put him on the 40-man roster. They see something there. Correct. And obviously, and I thought he had a nice little debut. Carlos Duran. This is a guy that I'm a big fan of because he's just nasty. Seeing him in 2021, even though, again, covering him crappy, with the crappy shots, but I got some good pictures of him. And he's a real friendly guy. I got to hang with him in spring training a little bit. He had some shoulder injuries and he ended up having Tommy John. So, 2023 is out. But boy, yeah, the slider, look at that. They got it 60 to 70 grade in the future. Fastball tops out at 99. Probably a reliever.
It did catch him the bullpen in Rancho, which still shocks me that he was only 19.
I know.
I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, when he was throwing his bullpen with Ramon Troncoso, he was just throwing gas. I was just like, I feel bad for whoever was catching him in the bullpen. I think it was Marco as well too. I was just
probably.
I was like, yeah, man, I think my arm would have just fell out already if I'm catching 99.
He also, I did see him start a game. Maybe it's even two. But one of the things that he did I thought was really interesting. A lot of most starting pitchers are all quiet, acting like they're all in their zone. That dude's like signing autographs, slapping fives, having a good time. After his bullpen, he's just smiling all the time. He's infectious. Just I like that dude a lot. So I'm glad that Farhan didn't do a Farhan with us here. Speaking of guys that, oh my gosh, Edgardo Enriquez.
This is a guy that I'm really looking forward to.
It said he did have postseason Tommy John, so it's a real bummer. I'd heard things, but I can't, unless I see it in print from some, I can't say anything. But yeah, it's Tommy John. But I loved what I saw of him this last year. Pitching at 19, and one of the younger guys. Big guy. I mean, he kind of looks like an A-Rod. Like A-Rod from back when he was young and good looking and before steroids. And Edgardo, another good, just a guy I met through taking pictures where he hits me up on Instagram. And he was creeping up the list last year, and for good reason. There's a lot there. He's just a big kid. And he's a kid. But yeah, the fastball is real. Everything. The command was fine. It didn't look that bad to me last year, but he's going to take a year. He's going to take a year to recover. I don't know exactly when he has surgery.
I believe I ran into him the day after he had surgery, actually.
Oh.
So I was waiting in the concession stands, and kid with Tommy John, that little brace they wear.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's walking through the crowd like a regular person. I looked at him. I was like, "Hey, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be in the dugout?" I didn't know he had Tommy John either, because he had it around the same time Walker Buehler had it.
Oh, so like in what, August-ish?
Yeah, August around. Yeah, it was right before his season ended too. So
okay, so he
yeah,
should
he
be
had it
ready for
around.
2024 though, at least to get
Yeah,
started, and it'll take a while, but you know, it's a long process for those guys, but it's much more of a science than labrums and stuff.
right.
Jose Ramos, boy, they poo-pooed him for his strikeouts big time. There's a lot of tools there. I mean, that arm, the raw power, there's a lot, and he's only 5'11". He's not a big dude. We'll just see.
We'll see
He's
the World
got,
Baseball Classic.
yeah, it's time for him to make some adjustments.
Oh yeah.
You know, and that's all once he makes some adjustments, we'll see. Yeah, Panama, yeah, we will see him in the WBC. Looking forward to that. God, I wish it was in Southern California. I really love that. That was so fun. There he is at 18. The kid, he looks like a little kid sometimes, but Yaner is not the biggest guy, but
right.
He's athletic. He's a grade A #1 human being, and they say his skills are a lot like Austin Barnes. I think he's a better hitter, and I think they even talk about that. And he's a good second baseman.
I mean, he's a great second baseman. I mean, we just every time we would see him as catching, he was just getting pounded back there.
Oh man, that dude.
But, I mean,
you're right. You're right.
I mean, that's what you sign up for as a catcher. You can't do nothing about it. But I mean, it's just us seeing him. He's not small, which I'm not trying to disrespect him or anything. It's just that catchers are now no longer 5'9".
I know. I mean,
yeah.
Pudge Rodriguez was 5'9". Now that's considered small.
Yeah.
Now they're 6'2", 6'3". It's kind of interesting, but he's a really good athlete, and he gets the bat on the ball. I'm confident he's gonna be a big leaguer. I really am. Yeah. But yeah, I wrote something up on him and all that. So yeah, check out stuff on Yaner Fernandez. He's a great dude. Emmett Sheehan, I missed him at Rancho, and oh man, this guy's bringing it though, man.
Yeah, and we saw him play in Arizona fall league. Him and Ramos both tore it up. What, was it Ramos or was it Andy
Ramos?
Paez? Okay.
Oh, Paez too. Yeah.
Yeah. They were tearing it up.
Sheehan was striking out everybody.
Right.
It was like, wait a minute.
Funky delivery too.
Yeah, I just haven't seen him enough. But this is a guy, I think, bold prediction, this guy's gonna be in the Dodger bullpen by the end of 2023. That's my sleeper right there.
Okay. I mean, he said he got a promotion to Tulsa.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so I mean, there you go. I mean, that says it right there. He probably will start in Tulsa this season.
Yeah, I think he might have that stuff if they decide to make him a reliever. A lot of these guys, you probably know they're going to gain a couple miles an hour if they make him a reliever.
Right.
Because they're just going balls out for an inning versus, 6 or trying to go 5 or 6. The guy that the Dodgers got for Alex DeJesus and Mitchell White, Nick Frasso, this may be another great Friedman move.
I'm gonna have to ask my old college coach about this, because he's from my old college coach. My catcher's coaches at that school that he got drafted from.
Is this Loyola Marymount in LA?
Yes, that's the one.
Oh, okay. Oh, excellent.
So I'm gonna have to ask about it, because he's been there for a while. So I mean, who knows? He might know this kid, and I know this is Alex's dude right here, because he didn't talk about him a lot.
Let's hook him up. Let's hook. He needs to hook us up.
So yeah. I mean, we see why the Dodgers went after him for sure and got him. I mean, that 98 again, he has almost great command on that, on all his pitches. So we probably will see him in the Dodger bullpen, or probably out there as well too.
Right. Yeah, and for some reason it just sticks in my mind that he's a bullpen guy, but he's another guy. He might beat Mr. Sheehan out there too. I don't know, but my guy, my shortstop,
There you go.
Jacob Maya. I love this guy. In terms of watching him on the bench, he is a leader. He's also a really good fielder. I'm glad to see them give him a 50 on the hit tool. I think that's coming along. He actually that dude had a great September in AAA.
He did. He started off slow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, for him, I mean, if they gave him a 50, and I mean they gave him 45 out of 50, so that's great. So I mean, obviously that's how you know they saw a lot of potential in him towards the end of the season this last season.
Yeah.
But I mean now, and it's great for him too because he's in the discussion of who's going to be the starting shortstop.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it's Lux, but if Lux isn't, can't handle it defensively, you've got a guy that can handle it defensively. That's for sure.
Right.
No, I mean, come on, no doubt there. Let's see. Oh yeah,
This is my sleeper right guy.
God, I love this guy too. This is interesting, but I noticed this. I actually asked Vivas about this last year. So he's still short, but he's no longer small. And I asked him about that. Say, what have you been doing? He says, man, just this Instagram. So I just been working out really hard, and so he's one of those work ethic, getting stronger. I think that raw power is going to get bigger.
Yeah,
but I love the hit tool. I don't know. I love hitters like this. I love the guys that come up and can put the bat on the ball and aren't striking out once every 3 times. I like it.
Trying to make me think that I'm small because I mean he's my height.
I know.
I'm starting to think I'm short.
Yeah. When I was growing up, the average male was in America was like 5'9". It's not that anymore, I guess. Yeah, I'm a fan, but it's probably a second baseman. Rushing. So just some interesting things about rushing. So, and they talk about these numbers a little bit about his defense. He didn't get to play that much in college. He was the backup to that number 1 pick, Henry Davis. So he didn't get real time behind the plate until 2022, and he made some really good strides.
I mean, I believe he was the best bat in the draft, right? Or something like that.
So far.
Yeah. I mean, from what I was reading as well, too, I did a little more digging into him because we only saw him for about maybe 2 weeks tops, and then he got called up. Yep. So I mean, did more digging in him until I saw that he was back up to Henry Davis, and even the same thing from what I read in college and his college thing is that he was a great bat. It's just that Henry Davis was just in front of him.
Yeah. So this is a guy that we loved it. We saw from him. Just
right.
Men amongst boys coming out there the way he hit. I doubt we see him ever again at Rancho.
Only problem to me, though, I think he's going to either be a first baseman or a DH. I don't see him catching for long.
It could be. There's so many other catchers. I mean, that's one of the problems. I think they're going to give him, just my speculation, right? At Great Lakes, I think it's him and Yainer switching off.
Right, Great Lake.
Yeah, and I think when one of them's not catching, Yainer plays some second, and Dalton plays at first or DH, like you said. So he looks capable over there. He looks, he's comfortable. The game that I saw him play, he was at first base, not at catcher. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple times I went out there and he wasn't playing. Like, oh, you got to be kidding me. It's kind of like when you go out there and freaking Cartaya wasn't playing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
This was an interesting one. There was some eye-opening stuff in here. I don't know if you get a chance to read the details on Doncon. They hate him in the field. They just,
really?
They have him as an outfielder. I'm not even sure he's a center fielder. But there's some excitement here. I mean, I'm hoping he can still work it out. I mean, again, these are young kids. And I think sometimes these prospect sites, these are smart people, but they're also you can overanalyze stuff. The Dodgers are giving him a full shot at shortstop. I think we see, Marco said they call him Donkey. We'll probably see Donkey some more. I think we're going to see McLean, Doncon, Diaz, and maybe Freeland switching around all three of the infield spots other than first base is my opinion. That's just off the top of my head. I'm probably missing somebody, of course. But I like
isn't
him.
our first baseman, or technically isn't the Quicks first baseman Kyle Nevin?
It was, yeah. And
Yeah,
I think
so
he probably comes back. He's not even in this top list, but he was in that draft,
yeah,
last draft. And yeah, he played pretty well. He had a good season, but it was a short season. So another one of those picks, right? We may also see Bubba a little bit again, Bubba Yaleen.
great dude too.
Do we even see? We didn't see him here.
I don't think I've even seen him. I don't even think he goes by Bubba. I think it's Chris Eileen or something
Well, it's
like that.
Chris, yeah, but it was Bubba. Well, that's what I asked him. What do you, Chris or Bubba? He goes Bubba. So, I think only his mama calls him Chris.
Yeah.
Let's see. Maddox Bruns. I saw him a lot.
Same here.
We know what we saw. We saw the command issues. We saw a high school kid. He would have been a freshman. And but I still like the stuff from what I saw. Again, being able to get behind sometimes the catcher. And I got some new gear, man. I'll be taking some more videos this year. Got me a new Sony camera that I'm going to take some videos with. And so I'll take advantage of that.
New year, new you.
Oh, dude. Stepping it up, man.
I hear you.
Stepping it up. I got my green screen behind me. Got some new lighting. I'm trying to get this going, man. It's like I'm trying to take it to another level. I think, having you guys out there more, I'll let you borrow my stuff too, because I can't be there all the time.
Right.
We'll try to figure some stuff out so that we can provide the crowd, our fans, the good stuff.
Right now that we're on Maddox Bruns, though, I don't know if you read this article. Apparently, that they're trying to say that right now, because the Dodgers are still trying to get another center fielder, which is Brian Reynolds.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
I was like, I hope they don't do it with trying to get rid of Maddox Bruns, and I forgot who else they were.
It was Pepiot, and they were talking. Was it Ramos?
Yeah, I was like, don't get rid of those guys. I mean, if Brian Reynolds is already asking for a trade, don't send these guys that are probably going to be like requesting trades already.
I think the Pirates are going to screw that one up anyway. I honestly do. They're going to end up trading him to the Yankees for like a couple prospects that suck. For some reason, they did that with the Yankees, right? They traded for Jameson Taillon, they got nothing. With the Padres, when they got traded for Musgrove, they got nothing.
When they traded Tyler Glasnow to the Rays, they got nothing either.
That was a different GM, and he should have been fired on the spot for that one. My gosh, just he's a bad GM. I mean, that's there. We got so far, he hasn't proven anything to me.
Right.
And how he handles this will be interesting. That should have never gotten public, man. That's bad. When you're in that type of thing, and the offer was a slap in the face. I mean, right. He is an all-star caliber player, and even though he probably projects as a left fielder or a right fielder, but yeah, Bruns though, man.
I still have high hopes on him. I think probably he just got the 1 year jitters out of him now. So starting this year, he's only 21. But I mean, like you said, he has electric stuff too, and he didn't really prove a lot this year.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said too, he's only a high school kid, pitched maybe max 3 innings. So I mean, now we'll probably go up 4 or 5, and maybe his command will come around now.
Yeah, and it's just growing up too. They talked about his physique and delivery changing. I mean, the Dodgers probably worked on his delivery and the physique. That's just part of growing up and working hard. So some of the baby fat and man strength starts coming in there, and it'll change. It changes things. Haha, I love this guy, River Ryan. I didn't even get to see him pitch at Rancho. I was still mad. I was all set, and he had.
I saw him pitch in. I saw him pitch at Rancho, but it was in the Inland Empire against the 66ers.
Okay.
Yeah, and he did really well, but then again, he then I believe it was like a couple of days later he got promoted. I believe it was him and Damon Keith that got promoted at the same time, didn't they?
Pretty much, yeah, I think so.
So I mean, there's a lot of talks in this kid too.
Yeah, one of those really friendly guys, right off the bat, very confident. Was a shortstop with the Padres, That's how
Right.
they drafted him. We got him for Matt Beatty. Thank you, AJ Preller, for doing an extra line before you made that trade. Yeah, that's a good. It's going to work out well. I think he's going to move fast. I'm not sure if he's a starter or reliever. I mean, he's older,
Right.
but I think he's going to be on the. I think he might get on a fast track with his age, but he's also he's stinking good.
Yeah.
And he's got some maturity to him. There's something a little extra about him. He carries himself a little more than a 24, 25-year-old guy. He's got extra to him that you can see that he's a maturity. I was definitely not that mature when I was that age.
His vocabulary and especially the way he talks to you, especially in interviews, is just beyond what you would think out of 24, 25 year old, because it's still technically fresh out of college out of that, especially playing professional baseball. So for him to be like that, I mean, I mean, he's just, his maturity on and off the field is just beyond.
Yeah, for sure. Ryan Pepiot, he's taken a lot of heat because of some of his command issues. Fine, fair enough. He knows it. Everyone knows it. I think he improves. I think
he could be another bullpen guy too.
Yeah, I actually talked about it with Casey too. Yeah, he's because I love his stuff, and I think it would really play up on the bullpen. I think though he's got that body though that just screams starter. You know, he looks like a starter to me.
Yeah.
And the stuff's there. I don't think you give up on someone after 36 innings. I think you'll give him a chance to adjust. If we judge Mike Trout based on his first season, it was awful.
It was awful.
Yeah, I mean, he
games.
barely retained his rookie status. What was it 2011, right? And he was terrible.
Yeah, correct.
And so, yeah, let's be careful on how we judge these guys. They're young, they're learning. It's a baseball's hard. Always remember that.
For like a day or two, though.
Yeah,
he was there for like 2 days, and then he went back up to the major roster.
Yeah, the Mitch White travel plan there.
Right.
Nick Nastrini.
Really, a lot.
The only time I saw him live, I saw him in spring training. And so I didn't get too much of a chance. I couldn't get a press pass, so they weren't letting it at the time. I couldn't get one, but I've dealt with him a little bit on Instagram. Seems like a really good kid. He's actually, I guess he went to San Diego went to high school in San Diego at Cathedral Catholic down here.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I got a friend of mine. His kid goes there right now.
Okay.
Maybe future Dodger, Anthony Peritano. We'll see. But Nastrini went to UCLA. My friend's son's going to USC.
My friend of mine at UCLA, so he told me a lot about Nick Nastrini a lot.
Yeah. He just keeps getting better.
Oh, yeah.
And I still need to do it. I think I've said it a million times. I need to do that 2021 draft article. Where are they now? Because I think half of that draft class is going to be a Dodger in Major League Dodger, half of them. And I think some of the rest will get traded and moved on. And more of them, I think more than half that team is that draft of, I think it was at the end of the day is either 18 or 19 guys.
I believe so. Yeah, I believe most of the guys I'm pretty sure
pitchers.
They're going to be Dodgers, honestly.
Yeah, the only guy that's not winning a pitcher was Damon Keith. He was the only guy, and he's Cal Baptist kid, local kid, at least kind of. So Nastrini, I'm excited about him. He just, like with the rest of these guys, it's command, but it's coming around. I just gotta love it. Okay, more Josh Thomas love here. He has
Josue De Paula.
Josue, thank you. I knew I hired you, man, for a good reason, huh? Josue.
Sorry, okay, man. I think just it's funny that you say that, because I know people always tell me, how do you know how to pronounce it? It's funny because a lot of these, my dad actually told me. He said if you ever notice Dominican players or like all these Cubans and stuff, like they have these weird names. They combine them with something else. I forgot. I'm gonna
Okay.
ask my dad again, but they combine it with a word like in English, and that's why they always put like Josue. I forgot for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they combine them with an English word, but it's like Jose, but they combine it with an English word.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
weird. I'm gonna ask my dad again, and I'll let you know about it.
Yeah.
That way you kind of, and it's so easy to pronounce after once you get that knowledge out of it.
Yeah. So here's another 2022 signing, and um not even 18 years old. But look what they're saying about him already. I mean, yeah. It's just a matter of where is he going to stick in terms of defense. Lefty swinger, lefty thrower. They said some scouts were being very irresponsible, comparing him to some star DH left fielder types. I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone, but I there's only the guy I keep thinking of about when I think of this guy is the guy that we traded to the Astros, Mr. Alvarez.
Oh,
When I look at when I look at the defense and I look at the offense, I'm going, maybe, except a lot younger. And
I
he's
mean,
actually,
Alvarez was the same way, wasn't he?
well, yeah, he wasn't as old. He was a little older, and he also, remember, he never played a game for the Dodgers.
I believe he only had like 2 weeks in Rancho, didn't even play, right, or something like that.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah, he never took the field. So the Dodgers traded him without even seeing him play. I guess maybe I don't know what they did at Instructs with, or whatever they did in Arizona with him. But this is the get ready to see him in 2 years in the top 10 lists for all the prospects. Huh?
I say the same thing as well too. I mean, I think probably after the Jordan Alvarez situation, I think the Dodgers are going to be a little more cautious, probably.
Yeah, that was
because we thought we were going to get a good middle reliever, and it just went the opposite way for us as well.
Oh, I
Too,
knew
for
he
the
wasn't a
Dodgers.
good middle reliever. He'd never been a good one. It was like,
Yeah,
what?
that didn't work out.
Like, what? Um, Gavin Stone, man.
Man,
Yeah, I
this
love
guy
this
came from
guy.
nothing to something.
Jeez. I'm so excited about him. I
Same
mean,
here.
it's fun to go, man. We saw him just make his pro debut. At least I did. I was at the game at San Bernardino when he made his start. And he, goes in, does well, and just, lights it up. He's not a big guy.
He really isn't. That weight is nowhere near as a pitcher would be.
Yeah.
Especially 6 feet.
Well, they talk about let's see. I thought there was something about his mechanics and how it's smooth and all that, but his command's good.
Yeah.
That's where he stands out amongst all the rest of the guys. His command is the best of all the pitchers I think we've seen so far. And just the numbers he put up, and he's efficient out there. And he's got, I think he's kind of gritty. There's something about him, he kind of got a little bit of bulldog in him. I think he makes his debut sometime in 2023. I think it's kind of the consensus. I mean, hopefully he doesn't need to because the Dodgers starters are all healthy, but we know how that goes.
Oh yeah, we see it all great, and next thing you know, it just starts all right. Because I believe the Dodgers are going to have a bunch of pitchers on the 60-man IL, right? On a 60-day IL.
Yeah, of course the biggest one's Bueller.
Yeah, so I mean,
Man,
we're probably going to see a lot of pitchers in that, and on that list.
I gotta be honest. Without Bueller, without a real Bueller, which we didn't even
Yeah,
have in 2021, it's tough to win without that stud. That dude has been the true ace of that team since 2018 when he took that World Series game. That
Game 3.
Yeah, the game 3, and then 2019 against the
Washington.
Nationals, he was a stud. He left with a 3-1 lead, and
Right.
then 2020 he's Walker effing Bueller, and then 2021 they broke him. They overworked him. They did because Scherzer this, and they short started him a couple times, and it was dumb. You just can't do that. You can't do that to somebody when you haven't done it to him all year, and he's not trained for it. And I think that contributed to him. I'm willing to say it out loud that I think the Dodgers broke him and helped give him Tommy John.
Yeah.
It's really too bad, because that guy is clearly, when he's healthy, is one of the best pitchers in baseball and is in my opinion, a legendary playoff pitcher already. He's truly one of the greats in that realm. There's something extra about him that he's tough to beat, but not when he's not 100%. But yeah, Walker effing Buehler, I miss that guy. There is just a quick side thing. I actually was, at night I just listened to YouTube as I'm going to sleep, and it popped up. What's the comedian? Theo Vaughn does his podcast, and he had Walker Buehler on.
Really?
Yeah, and it was right before the 2020 season got rolling. It's a good podcast. I would pick it up because there's some insight that I hadn't heard before. And so it's just everyone out there, Google Theo Vaughn. He was the guy that was on Real World, Road Rules 20 years ago, and he's still the same. And with Walker Buehler, so Theo Vaughn, VON, and then Walker Buehler, and just do that on YouTube, and it's a great interview. Theo's an underrated interviewer. Some people don't like him, but I like anyone that's a comedian. So, but it was like, oh, Buehler's pretty funny in his own way, but he was also very honest about things, and it was really good to hear. Number 4, I'm gonna. They're wrong. They're wrong. He shouldn't be number 4. Did I skip? Paez. Duh.
Yeah.
Paez. Is it Paez. I'm trying to how they say it.
It's pronounced Paez, but
Paez. Okay. I'm gonna go with what you say then Fangraphs. Paez. We know about this guy.
Definitely the raw power is there for sure.
Yeah. And the raw arm too. I mean, there's some skills there. It's just, if he makes enough contact, we've got a stud. He doesn't have to hit 250. He hits 250. I think he hits 35 home runs, and he plays good defense for us, and probably in left or center field because he's not playing right.
That is true.
We got someone out there who's pretty good. So that won't change.
Yeah, he's decently good in right field.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everything we saw. I mean, then obviously in the Arizona Fall League, I mean, he did tear it up. So I mean, now it's just the matter of fact what the Dodgers will see him do. Are you going to put him in left field or in center field as well too?
Right. Yeah. And I didn't mean right as in right field. I mean, yeah. He's just thank goodness the Angels turned down that trade to acquire him. I still can't believe that they were going to do that, but you do that whatever you can to get Mookie Betts,
right?
And it was part of whatever, that guy was actually going to go to Boston. He wasn't going to come to LA.
Luis Rifo.
Yeah, that was part of the deal. And so instead of Jeter down, so instead they took Jeter downs. But yeah, so Paez. It's just a matter of enough contact.
Is he in AAA or is he in AA right now?
He was in AA last year. He better start the season in AAA. I mean, he did struggle a little bit in some ways against the contact. The homers were down a bit. I mean, AA, AAA, the pitching's not that much different either. So
right.
It's just what do the Dodgers want to do?
If he's hitting 250, I think he's gonna be like a Chris Taylor type of player, except just with more power. With more power,
right? Yeah. No, and he also there's some grit to that guy too. He's you don't see him out there laughing too much. He's out there pretty serious. I think these guys terribly underrate Miguel Vargas. I think the hit tool I have at a 70. I have the raw power actually 55, and so the game power also. The run's fine. Fielding, we'll see. That's the big question with Miggy. I think he is a future 300 hitter, and an all-star. That's just from what I've seen. It's just opinion. I'm a fan. There's a lot to like about him. And I was, I don't know about you, but I'm kind of excited to see a little bit of Miggy attitude out there. Some smiling. Um, I know they got some serious guys out there, and that's cool. Be serious, be businesslike, be who you are. But Miggy, don't try to make Miggy into a serious guy.
Right.
He has a good time. He's smiling, but he plays hard. He takes a lot of pride in his game. And I just think we need a little extra. I think we need some Miggy flavor out there, man.
It's gonna be coming down probably. I mean, we see how the kind of kid Miguel Vargas is. I mean, even when I saw him play in the Futures game, he was all smiling and laughing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't even think I ever saw him one time even serious besides when he was at the plate. So, I mean, aside from that, I think just let him be himself, I think, and it'll all work out for him. Because you already know, like, when he makes contact, he's not hitting, he's not trying to pull the ball. He's just gap to gap guy. He's going
Yeah.
the opposite way. So, I mean, there's a lot of power going the other way, especially going to right field.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh yeah.
I mean, so
Absolutely.
he has that hit tool.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
Yeah.
that it's time for him to play third base, though, in my opinion.
I just wanted
And
to play, man.
yeah,
I don't even care where. I just got he needs at bats.
I'm just saying third base because I mean now that JT's gone and we still don't know what Max Muncy's gonna do. So I
Right.
mean I think it's third base at this point.
Yeah. No, that's what it seems like, but who cares? I mean, at least that's my opinion. I just want him in the lineup.
Right.
Third base is fine. I do want to see. I think I think there's a reason that they've made the moves that they've made and players that they've let go for a reason. I think they want some new voices. And I think that maybe it's time. I know we all, and especially you're a big JT guy, but it just seemed maybe it's that time for some new blood. And I don't think to be honest, I don't think the leaders of this team, at least vocally, are going to be Mookie or Freddie.
I don't think so either.
I think it's going to have to be. I think it won't be Vargas yet. But it's got to be, someone's got to come up for, maybe it's Gavin, maybe it's Will Smith. Well, Will's pretty quiet. Someone's got to step up and take the reins of this team. Maybe it's JD Martinez a bit.
It could be him. And you know who actually it comes to my mind right now is being that guy that's going to be vocal in that clubhouse probably is going to be guys that are probably who have struggled in their careers and have just reinvented themselves, like a Chris Taylor, like a Trace Thompson type of player.
You know what? You bring up Taylor, and that's an interesting thing. All of a sudden, that guy's making the rounds on the media. I know he's pushing his golf tournament, or the Top Golf at Dodger Stadium. I think that's get your tickets, people. Chris Taylor Foundation,
right?
/ Top Golf or something like that. Please take a look at that if you're into that. I'd love to go to that, but the work gets in the way. But yeah, he's really been vocal lately. I mean, Doug McCain just had him on.
Yeah, so I mean, who knows? He could probably be the voice now in that clubhouse, especially too, like how you said. He even mentioned, I believe, in one interview, because he was here at the Rock and Bruce in El Segundo by my parents. He mentioned too, like how he wants to follow in the footsteps of like JT, and then how guys like Kershaw and these guys helped him, when he was going through his struggles from the Mariners. So he probably will be that leader now in that clubhouse. Maybe not like.
Well, and you bring it up, you talked about the characteristics, and the characteristic you talk about was JT. I mean, JT was the guy that came from, being a minor league free agent signing to, being a star.
Yeah.
Also, two-time All-Star, world champ, one of the best third basemen in Dodgers history.
Yeah.
Quite a legacy that he's left, and he's beloved and is going to someday come back, and no matter what role he's at, he's going to be a fan favorite when he's going to roll out there at 75 years old, and he's still going to get a standing ovation. He's that guy. But yeah, Trace, that's another guy. Yeah, I mean, I think some of these guys just need to come out a bit. I mean, I think Mookie and Freddie are good, quiet leaders. They are pros. Austin Barnes.
Yeah.
Austin Barnes is the leader of this team. Hopefully, I'd love it. I would love it if it's in Austin Barnes's hands. Because, let's be honest. If you're in a fight, you want Austin Barnes on your side.
You're gonna have that one guy that's gonna be a sleeper there in a fight.
That's our guy, man. So yeah, but I think Vargas is going to be part of that thing, and he's going to come and maybe bring, hopefully, another couple guys come and and bring some smiles, and
Right.
and also just to have something to prove. It just seemed like, and I know, and it's not. I don't want to accuse the Dodgers of not being hungry, but it didn't look like they were hungry. The perception that they let out during that series was like they weren't hungry and they didn't care that much. We know they did. It's just they didn't show it the way we would necessarily expect them to. But so I want to get, they're not, these are good guys. They're very professional. They want to win. I'm sure they went into their off season bitter and probably full of, piss in their, to come in, hopefully they have something to really fight for. But, same time, the perception was bad. I just want to say perception was bad, but I don't want to accuse those guys. Those guys are all professionals, and we know they wanted to win way more than we did. We know that. They got pro. Okay. Another one of my guys. I don't know where they're going to put him. Michael Busch. This is just standing out right now. I don't think it's that bad. Go look at Dodgers Daily. Google Michael Busch on that site. You'll see some more insight on him. And it sounds like they're still trying to push him at second. And I think that's good. If we get a second baseman with 60 power,
bring it more. Yeah,
bring it, man.
His hit total, his raw power, game power. It's all there. His fielding's already there, 2020, but it could probably be a little bit better than that. So, but overall, it's his hitting that's pushing him out there more now.
Yeah, and he's got the, to talk about his patience at the plate, and I think if he wanted to, he could hit for a higher average, but with lower power. Well, it's not what he wants; it's what the Dodgers want.
Right.
You're going, because I see this guy when he was first drafted. I think a lot of people saw it. This is Max Muncy Part 2.
Right.
And it's just, the patience and all that stuff. But I don't think Max Muncy has 300 in him. But I think Michael Busch does, but it's going to mean 20 home runs instead of 30. So it's up to the Dodgers what they want to do with him. But Muncy's also a better, at least according to people, he's a better fielder. But when Max Muncy first came up in 2019, I hated seeing him in the field anywhere. I wanted him in the batter's box, but nowhere else.
Right.
But now he's competent. It doesn't look pretty, but he's a decent second baseman. He's average there, and he's an average third baseman. And he was a good first baseman, but you can't play him there anymore. Busch is actually a very good athlete. He was a high school quarterback and all those types of things. One of the best athletes in his high school. So there's a lot there. It's just, can he be average at second base? If he's average at second base, we got a dude.
Yeah. I think it's going to be between him and Max Muncy at second. Now that we see that Gavin Lux is going to be at short.
Yeah.
But at this point, from all the articles I've read, they're still trying to make a trade for another shortstop. But I think at this point, this close to the season, you might as well just roll with what you're going to go with now.
Yeah. We also know that Friedman's probably got something up his sleeve.
Right.
He's not done. We got what, Mookie in February and Freddie in March. And I did something on Michael Busch. I don't know if you saw, it was just a 1-minute thing, but I think the Dodgers should consider just, going into spring training, put him in left field. And if he's not quite ready, start him in AAA in left field and just have him learn it. He could probably make himself a competent left fielder. Just roll with that. And if you're going to hide a glove, left field might be the place. If you have Outman in center or Trace in center, they're covering a lot of ground. You got Mookie in right. You've still got 3/4 of the field covered. And if Busch can catch the ball, it's just getting jumps. Or if they put Vargas out there, they just got to figure something out. But those guys need to be in that Okay. Yeah. They just have to be at a spot where they can get their bats in lineup. That's it.
I mean, I could piggyback off what you're saying because you bring up a good point about if you really like how you're mentioning Michael Busch in left field, and if that works, like have him start off in AAA.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of similar because remember when they tried to do that to Gavin Lux
Yeah.
in the middle of the season, trying to
That
put
was
him in center field, I believe, was it?
it wasn't that terrible, but I mean
It
they didn't
wasn't
have
terrible, but it's just that why would you do it during the middle of the season when you only got like a month and a half left of season play to
I
go into
know.
the playoffs?
Yeah,
So
and that remember that was when every game mattered too. And
right. So I mean, you bring up a good point. If it's something like that, you might as well just do it in spring training and see how he does the whole time that he in spring training. And if
yeah,
it all works out, just throw him in AAA and see how you go from there. Because I mean, at the end of it, it's not going to hurt you. You still have Max Muncy, and you're going to have somebody else probably that could play second base, Chris Taylor as well too. So
oh
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, of course.
already
Yeah, no, I'm with you on yeah, Taylor. Well, we know Taylor play anywhere.
yeah,
And I think we're gonna have a really good Chris Taylor season. I think he's gonna have a nice bounce back season. He
same
was hurt all year. Here he comes, man. The big guy, big Bobby Miller.
like top two guys here.
Look, 102 miles an hour. Holy smokes. So if for some again, my own speculations, my own, I think about this too much. You probably do too. But I can see this guy being the guy that comes in and is our just nastiest lockdown closer we've had ever at the last of the season. If he doesn't get a chance to start and just go, you know what? He's only thrown 100 innings, throw him in the bullpen. If the starters are healthy, I mean, I'm just kind of excited about that type of stuff that 102, and he's got good, he's got all sorts, his pitches are all pretty good. And the way he pitches, just watching him on the mound, he looks like that Joel Obara guy we were talking about. They got that
Oh,
same
Joel Ibarra,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, they got that same thing, man. Bring on the Slayer. It's raining blood, and we're bringing out these guys that are breathing fire.
Right.
And I just see him, just the way but he's got way too much potential to go. Let's just put him in the bullpen now. But I could see that at the end of the season, putting him in the bullpen. Oh man. But there's so much there. I hope he does debut in 2023 at some point. It's going to be exciting. I think the good news for us, man, we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about all season at all levels, because we're going to have so many prospects that are making their debuts or still having their rookie status. And we'll keep covering them even in the major leagues. Hopefully we can get some press passes at Dodger Stadium when they're playing. I try to do that whenever some of those guys are playing, try to get down there. And
Crazy
then
too with Bobby Miller as well too, because with Bobby Miller, the thing that really impressed me too, I only seen him pitch once, and it was
yeah,
the Futures. So I mean, for me, like how you mentioned, it's like after he gave up that one run off that pass ball he had in the Futures
yeah,
game, it was just lights out from there. His pitches just became nasty. So I mean, for him, I mean, we knew that. I think even before the beginning of the 2022 season, they were even thinking of him becoming probably a bullpen piece or even getting rid of him because of his delivery and his, all that stuff, but his mechanics. But that's the thing that we all want to assume they're gonna get rid of them. But with the Dodgers, we probably just think this just them how they just see him eventually. But with time now, after the season's over, they gave him the whole year.
mm-hmm.
Look at the big jump he did. He went from Great Lakes all the way to AAA.
Yeah.
Same thing with Gavin Stone. Big jump from Great Lakes all the way to AAA. And in the same time, too, to think that Gavin Stone and Bobby Miller both got called up at the same time just
Yeah.
shows you that there's the potential that the Dodgers see in these guys.
Again, and they were 2020 draft.
Right.
They I think, and this is just trying to read the tea leaves of the Dodgers. You try to just see what they're, that's such a tight-lipped front office, but I think they believe they have a lot of really good major league talent in their system.
Right.
That's ready. And I think Yeah, I think that's where they're trying to keep the salary down to try to, get into that tax. Um, go for it. If it doesn't work out, make some trades. Um, but you've got a chance to, maybe have an infield, to bring up, like the Dodgers had in the early 70s with, Garvey
Oh,
Lopes, Russell Say. They had Bill Buckner was a Dodger.
right,
Joe Ferguson and Steve Yeager were catchers. Those guys all came up together. Bobby Valentine, the old manager, he was a great prospect before he broke a leg with the Angels, and they traded him and got some pitching. Andy Messersmith. And they just developed and even in the start, the pitchers, they developed Doug Rao and Charlie Huff. These guys all kind of came up within 3-4 years. Tom Paciorek, Lee Lacy. There's a lot of guys that played a long time in the major leagues. And so I think they might have that again.
right,
They've had over the last few years, they've had some significant players come up. Let's be honest. I mean, Corey Seager,
right,
he was everything we thought he would be. Then they had the next year, they had Cody Bellinger, who he helped us get a world championship, man. He got an MVP. The guy, he fell apart, but he helped bring us some glory. And then, we had Walker Buehler the next year. And then the year
right,
after that was Will Smith. And so it just kept coming. And Julio was in that mix, and Jock Peterson was in that mix, and they all helped us get to that place. And so and it was kind of a slow trickle, and now it's okay, it's time to do that again, because I always like to remind people when they go, oh, the Dodgers, they buy their teams. That World Series winning team, half the team was homegrown.
right.
That's it. And even when we trade Doogie to help, and two other prospects to help get Mookie.
Mookie
So
Betts.
yeah, there wasn't, the Dodgers never did any big free agency signings until Bauer and then Freeman. They haven't done big under the Friedman administration. They've never done big. They've gone into some guys, but they never did it. But they made some trades. They tried
That
for
is
some
true.
guys, but it didn't happen. But it wasn't until they really, dipped in, and one of the two didn't even work out of those things.
I think that just what separates the Dodgers from a lot of teams is that if they're not willing to go big high money on a free agent, but if
Mm-hmm.
they see that they can make a trade out of it, get rid of guys that they don't see that they don't think they'll progress over the time of the organization, just get
Yeah.
rid of them. Maybe get somebody big out of it. I mean, we've gotten big names that trades like Manny Machado. We've
Yeah.
gotten Scherzer, Trey Turner.
Yeah.
I mean, you Darvish. So we see the type of players we can get for trades. I mean, for players that we've traded for, and the guys that we traded for are no longer in those organizations anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's a lot of guys that they mostly fizzled out. The Dodgers do a good job of keeping their guys, and I think that's one of the reasons teams are scared to trade with them. I mean,
Right.
however, when the Nationals did trade with the Dodgers, they got their top two prospects.
That's true.
So, and I'm a big believer in Keibert and Josiah. Josiah just got to quit giving up dongs. I think both of them are very good players, but you know what? I do that trade every freaking time.
No, you're right. I mean, if it's gonna help us get players, and then I mean, even if it's just the minimal rental, but I mean, at
Yeah,
the end of the day, I mean, it's worked out for them. But sometimes it just seems like we fizzle out when it's time to
yeah.
shine. Next thing you know, that's it.
Well, in 2021, Scherzer did fizzle. I mean,
Yeah,
he only three of his last four starts of the regular season, three of the four were not good.
yeah.
So he kind of failed. So let's go to the top guy. So they
Big
don't have
dude.
Andre Jackson on this list. I actually found he's still a rookie technically. So
Yes.
he should have been on this list. Andre's going to be, I think he's a bullpen candidate for 2023. He was good at the end of the year too. But Diego, I think their hit tool is kind of messed up.
the hit tool, and I think the game power is a little off.
Yeah, it's that he's got the sound, man. The sound comes off the bat differently.
Right.
It was like rushing, right? He was like, wait, hold on, something different's coming here. It sounds different. It's the sound that the bat, makes it when ball hits the Trout bat or Hotani's bat, or just some of these big thumpers. And Diego's a big guy, and he's still so young. It's just yeah. But he, as you know, he's first class.
First class dude. I mean, the maturity for him being a 21-year-old is beyond me as well too, because that's already
with the spotlight on him too.
Yeah,
he knew it, and he knew the spotlight was on him,
right?
And he handled it well.
So I mean, I still project this guy probably coming in as a late September call up. I mean,
really? Oh, well, he could, yeah, since he is on the roster now.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, after what we saw in 2022, I just think that because me and you've both even said it, we were surprised we even got him back in Rancho at the beginning of the year.
That's crazy.
So, but I mean, to me, it just seems like every game we saw him play was either a home run or he had a 3-hit game or something like that.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people don't speculate him being that top guy, but I mean, I think everything we've seen already and the maturity and all that stuff, I think my bold prediction for me on this kid is he's gonna be a late September call up.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I see him starting in Double-A next season, so
he should.
Yeah. So I mean, tear it up or not, I mean, I still think he's gonna be a late September call up, probably, for sure.
It could be. If it was a 40-man call up, I'd say yes, but with the 28, it's a lot tougher.
Right.
We'll see. I mean, the Dodgers, I'd like it. Just hopefully Will Smith stays healthy, because I don't want to push him into a place where he has to really produce yet. But at the same time, you go, but Juan Soto was 19 when he got called up, and even the kid, the shortstop for the Astros. Pena. You keep wanting to say Perez, but it's Pena. These sometimes you just got to give these guys a shot. And I think we've talked about, I'm still mad that they didn't play Miggy during the playoffs.
Same. Yeah.
It's just, you keep putting the same guys out there that are busted and broken and can't do anything because they're not 100%. And you got a guy that's 100% on the bench.
And you probably will be right, though, about Diego not probably becoming a September call-up, only because it's the 28-man roster now.
That's the only thing.
Point too, but this is my thing, though. He's gonna, and you bring up a good point, because you made me realize too, he does have to make a big jump of all these other catchers that are in Double-A and Triple-A, because they got Fusha, whatever his name is.
Fiducia.
Yeah, Fiducia. Yeah. Then they got Carson Taylor.
Yeah.
We got another guy there. Forgot the other guys' names there too. And obviously with rushing coming along, you have Yainer. So you see all these catchers. Yeah,
it's a lot of guys.
But if you really think about it, though, with the Dodgers, they haven't really called up another catcher besides having Will Smith and Austin Barnes on the roster.
Right. So they only call up like the Tony Walters type guy.
Right. So
and then they cut him.
Yeah. So it only brings me to my factor is that if Diego's going to be that guy and being the guy to take over, it's going to come down that he's probably either going to be one of the guys like Austin Barnes either might get traded, which I hope not. I hope not.
They can't.
But I mean, I'm just saying, it's just off the top of my head.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah, so it could be that, or a guy gets injured, and then next thing you know, Diego has to going in AAA or something like that. But I mean, then that's just my speculation as well.
Yeah, I don't want them to baby him too much. I think they've done that a lot already. And
yeah, because you already see a lot of top prospects that were catchers. They're already in the majors, and they're a lot younger than Diego too. So
yeah, they're letting these guys play, and it's I think one of the reasons I think the Dodgers do it, I got to be honest with you, I think they're trying to not waste any of their 6 years for free agency type things by developing them in the minors.
Correct.
That's my thoughts. then again, they brought up Cody early.
They
Because
did.
remember, they ran out of players. They ran out of outfielders in 2017. That was the same time that Chris Taylor debuted in center field and made a great catch against the Cardinals.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
I think
right.
that was the Michael Waka versus Ross Stripling game where they were teammates in college, and Strip got a hit off him.
Yeah.
Now he's a Giant, so boo. But that was their outfield fell apart so fast. Tolles was hurt, and I think Jock sucked that year until the World Series, but everything fell apart and they had to do it. So if things go south, the reason they brought up Will Smith was they weren't bringing him up to just sit. Because remember, they put Austin Barnes at AAA because Austin was hitting about 100. He
was
forgot how to hit. Yeah, he forgot how to hit. And so remember, they had Russell. Russell was their other catcher. And so they brought Will up and he played so well that they had to keep him. I think they had talked about singing him down, but they kept him up. They had to play him. So if Diego, I think, comes up earlier in the season, it's not going to be because someone gets hurt briefly. It's going to be, no, he's going to come up and play. And I hope they do that with some of these guys. There's no reason to go with mediocrity. If someone's mediocre or not doing well, bring up someone else and give them a chance. And maybe they take that spot, and then you got to keep in the lineup. You got to find a way. We'll take on Andrew Tolles, who I missed so much. And I hope he's doing okay. But that guy played himself onto the roster in 2016 and provided a spark. God, I miss that guy. I really do. I loved having that guy on the team. He just those were fun times watching Andrew Tolles. But they were, man. I love that guy. But he had a spark, and he earned the time. He was good. He was legit good. I mean, hit that grand slam against the Rockies to win a game.
That's right. Again, and in Coors Field. Yeah, you're right.
Yep. And so
he even cracked the playoff roster too.
He did, yeah. But if they're going to go and bring these guys up, bring them up, let them play, and don't just keep sending them back down. I don't like what they did with Outman. I don't like what they did with Vargas. Bring him up, leave him up.
Right.
Especially, gosh, like I've said it a million times, they had the thing clinched in June. They could have let Pepiot pitch. They could have let Grove pitch. Instead, I got to rush to get these guys back, that guy back. I mean, I don't like the way they played it this last year. I know the Dodgers are way smarter than I am, but
I think they were not trying to fall into the thing. If you really think about it, 2022 was almost similar to 2017, almost as identical, as where they clinched early. They were the first team to clinch, and then they had that drought. Remember, they had that 1 month drought. They were just losing games left and right. So, I mean,
so bad.
I see the mentality they had. They're like, okay, we don't want to fall in that drought. But if you really think about it, it's like you might as well just have that drought, but let your pitchers and your prospects just pitch already and have your players play, because going in, then if you do be getting that spark going into the playoffs, now you're going in as the hottest team in baseball,
right?
And you have the most winningest team in baseball in there as well too.
Yeah, because that team, the offense died halfway through September. Yet they kept. Well, we'll play Vargas every 5 days, and we're trying to bring back Chris Taylor. He's broken, and we're trying to bring back Justin Turner. He's broken. Gavin Lux, he's broken. They kept bringing back those guys and said, let's just get the healthy guys here. If you want to get those other guys healthy, put them on the DL, send them to rehab, have them go play at Oklahoma City.
Right.
Or preferably Rancho. But the Rancho might have already been done. But let those guys go get healthy somewhere else. Let these other guys play. It was just insane. I mean, Outman, when he went back to Oklahoma City, that dude just dominated.
Yeah, like 2 cycles in like 2 days.
Yeah, it was crazy, right?
Yeah. So I mean, that just shows you that a lot of these guys are already hungry to go, just to come up and stay there. I mean, with the James Outman situation, no doubt in our minds, he's our starting center fielder.
Yep.
But I mean, that's the thing though. If you're lacking on him, saying that his contact to ball ratio is going to be low, well then let him play. Let him see if he can handle big league pitching, and then let him figure out his own struggles from there. Just like
Yeah,
how you guys did with Cody Bellinger. Simple as
right.
that.
Well, and they kept running. I'm going to bash on Chris Taylor a bit, not his fault because he was hurt, but they kept running him out there. That dude couldn't put the bat on the ball.
Right.
And Justin Turner could not. He had 2 hits in the playoffs, but none of them were hard hit. He couldn't hit the ball hard. He was hurt.
Right.
And Gavin Luxmore, he had a neck injury. Man, put guys out there that are healthy. Fine, you can go send them to Arizona or whatever. You don't have to put them on the playoff roster, but it cost them. It was, to me, that was the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen from the Dodgers. And they've done some embarrassing things. That was the worst. That was worse than Washington. They won one playoff game after winning 111 games.
Yeah, I mean, it come down to this season too, that they're going to have that chip on their shoulder now that with the Padres coming in. Look at the team they got stacked.
Yeah.
Look at look at the Giants. They're starting to have some kind of fire going in there as well too. Now they're starting to sign some people. Then you got
Diamondbacks, man.
The Diamondbacks too. Now they're starting to bring up their prospects and having them play. So I mean, you can only imagine how the National League West is going to be this upcoming season as well too.
Play ball, man.
Yeah,
play ball. Let's do it.
You're going to see that West is going to, instead of it being a 20-game behind division, you're going to be seeing teams in there. Probably the max you'll see is 10 games, probably at most.
Yeah, I mean, I still have high expectations for this team. I still think they should win the division. I think the Padres will be closer. I think they'll battle them better. I mean, they get Tatis coming back. He might struggle a bit because he's got his wrist operated on and his shoulder.
Right.
So we saw what happened with Cody with his shoulder. So it might be a little tougher than they think, but he is, if he's even halfway decent, he's a pretty darn good player. Bogarts, I think it's a mistake to play him at short when you've got Kim, but they're going to have plenty of offense. Machado is going to be playing for a contract. I expect him to have the best year of his career and then sign with the Yankees. Who knows? I would actually take him back in the Dodgers, man. I think I like what he's done with himself. I think he's made himself into a better teammate. He's become an excellent ball player. I don't think he's that guy that was with the Dodgers in 2018. That guy I didn't really like. I mean, you root for the guy. You root for I root for Laundry. So you could put I don't know, the leader of North Korea in there, and I'm probably still rooting for him because he's on the Dodgers. It's extreme, folks. Don't worry. I don't like what the guy does in North Korea. Don't cancel us. But yeah, I root for that. So, but Machado's going to have a lot to prove. He wants to get that big contract, and he deserves it. Padres, man, they got to be just going, oh dang, we should have tried to renegotiate that last season.
No, yeah, I mean, speaking back with a lot of these guys, especially with the Dodgers too. I mean, we're gonna have to see a lot. Is Freddie Freeman gonna have a great second year as well too, after having a great first year as well?
I know, yeah, that was quite.
So I mean, we can only speculate. Hopefully, I mean, like you said, we have high hopes with this team, no matter what. I mean, like you said, spring training hasn't even started. You guys haven't reported yet, so we call him what Freeman might be thinking of doing it in the next couple weeks or 1 month left that we have left.
Yeah.
So I mean, who knows? I mean, I still think that the fact that they are still in on this Brian Reynolds thing, but I just hope they don't do the wrong mistake of letting go guys that we see that have the potential to stay as a Dodger.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm mixed on Reynolds. I got to be honest with you, Doug. Doug and I were talking. Doug McCain and I were talking on the phone a couple weeks ago about that. We talked about a half hour just about Reynolds, and both of us going back and forth on him. I mean, Doug puts out great content about Reynolds, but we talk about it a lot. Just, oh, what do you think? What about this? What about that? And maybe he's not as bad as he was in 2022 in the outfield. And yeah, but hey, let's wrap this up. I think we definitely covered our goal. I think we went off track a little bit at the end, but we haven't spoken in like 3 weeks, so we had to catch up a little bit, and we'll let everyone see our conversation. We ended up going pretty long. It wasn't quite a half hour nor an hour. All right, I got to go take out the trash before I get in trouble. All right, man. Good to see you, Trinidad. Next week we'll do it again. Maybe we'll talk about the international guy signings that are coming up. So let's be ready for that. Hopefully I have Alex next week, and then look for me to be recording soon with Doug. Hopefully, we're trying to hook up on something for that I'll be on appearing with him on Dodgers Nation soon. Hopefully. Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Thank you, Trinidad, for joining us. Good to see you again. And yeah, we are about 35 days away from spring training, pitchers and catchers. I think for the Dodgers, it is February 15th. So let's can't wait to get there. Hopefully you can get out there, Trinidad. I'm trying to plan my trip already.
Yep. Same here. We're trying to figure it out already. I mean, it's the day after Valentine's Day, so might as well make some love out there with these guys.
And so everyone, we appreciate everyone listening. I know we went a little long today. Appreciate you. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And we'll see you guys out there. If you have questions, please comment. If you have criticism, please comment. Any ideas, we gladly accept any ideas. We appreciate it. We appreciate the feedback. We want to present the content you all want to see. So thank you again for listening, and we are out.
Later, guys.
Right. Trying to stop the recording here. Where's that butt? Gosh darn it.